Thanks for joining us today. I'm Cody Holyoke. We begin with an issue that directly affects the rights of more than half of all Americans. Because of a major ruling, women across the country are now weeks into this new reality in which nationwide abortion rights are gone. The Supreme Court's reversal of Roe v. Wade sparked marches, protests, and rallies. Justices gave the power to decide abortion rights back to the states, some of which, as we've reported, were already making moves preparing for last month's ruling. Since then, at least 9 states have banned nearly all abortions, including Missouri, which we'll get to in a minute. Many more are poised to move in the same direction in the coming weeks. But here's what's different in our area. In Kansas, abortion rights are still protected thanks to a court decision from a few years ago. But it is now the first state in the U.S. where voters will be able to decide if that stands in the wake of June's Supreme Court ruling.
Kansas has become an abortion destination.
It's a government mandate that could ban all abortions with no exceptions.
You've likely seen the ads all over the airwaves for and against what's called the Value Them Both Amendment, which is up for a vote August 2nd. It's a push to give the legislature more control over abortions in the Sunflower State. The language of the proposal can be a bit confusing, so here's how it works. A yes vote means state lawmakers will get the final say on abortion regulations, paving the way for more limitations or even potentially a ban. It also makes it clear the state government doesn't have to fund abortions. A no vote means the state Supreme Court ruling stands, as do abortion protections and the right for a woman to choose. Today we get to the heart of the matter with a representative on both sides of the issue, giving them time to explain their positions on a decision that will affect people in Kansas and beyond in the years to come. We begin with Brittany Jones, Director of Policy and Engagement for Kansas Family Voice. It's a backer of the Value Them Both Amendment. Brittany, thanks so much for joining us. First off, why do you feel this constitutional amendment is needed?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Cody. This constitutional amendment is vitally needed because currently in Kansas, we have unlimited, unregulated abortion, and that's not who Kansans are. Kansans value life. They value mothers and babies. Moms deserve information. They deserve to know what's happening to them throughout the abortion process, and the abortion industry has fought these regulations every step of the way. So Value Them Both is vitally needed to protect moms and babies, to ensure that Kansas is not a destination for abortion, and to ensure that we can protect our more than 25 bipartisan laws that have been passed in our state.
Sure, and you mentioned, and we've heard this before, the unlimited, unregulated line in a number of ads that are on our airways, but there are many restrictions and regulations in Kansas right now, including limits on timing and telehealth, mandatory counseling, ultrasounds, informed parental consent for minors, health and safety standards that are enforced. So what else would you like lawmakers to do here?
That's absolutely not true. Every single one of those that you listed were passed with bipartisan support, but are presumed unconstitutional, and many of them have already been struck down because of what the Kansas Supreme Court did in 2019. A lot of people don't know that the Kansas Supreme Court created a fundamental right to abortion in our 1859 Constitution that has made every single one of our 25 plus pro-life laws presumed unconstitutional and unenforceable.
But it is true, though, Brittany, I hate to interrupt, but it is true. There are regulations in place. Consent with a parent or guardian is a thing. State regulations are a thing. So there are, again, regulations in place. And you mentioned this destination. I've heard this a lot, too. When we look at the numbers, 88% of the abortions last year that came from out-of-state women were from Missouri. And as you know, in Kansas City, we share a border with the state of Kansas. We go over there for errands every day. This is not people coming from across the country. So why try to frame it in a they are coming to our state as a haven type of thing?
So first of all, those laws that you mentioned, they're technically on the books, but they're not enforceable. I think it's really important for people to understand. Secondly, people are coming from other states. They're coming from Texas. They're coming from Oklahoma. And yes,
Texas had 6% of abortions. Of all of the abortions last year, Texas was 6%, and that was the nearest state to Missouri, which was 88. Do you want a ban on abortions in the state of Kansas? Is that where this is going?
The abortion industry themselves are encouraging women to come from other states. So I think it's just very, very clear that the abortion industry themselves are trying to make Kansas an abortion destination. What we are trying to do with Value Them Both is to protect our more than 25 pro-life laws that are already on the books.
Sure,
We're trying
and
to
you've
protect
said that.
those laws
My
to make
question
sure they're
is, and I'll ask it
enforced.
one last time, do you want a ban? If this amendment passes, will you press for a ban on abortion?
Value Them Both is absolutely not a ban on abortion.
I know it's
Value
not,
Them
but will you
Both-
press for it after the amendment, if it passes? Because that's the next step here.
Well, excuse me?
It seems like that could be the next step. Is that an accurate assessment? Do you want a ban on abortion in the state of Kansas?
Value Them Both is not a ban on abortion, for one. And for two, what we're looking at protecting post Value Them Both are these laws. We're going to have to reenact at least two of our laws that have already been struck down. Our clinic health and safety standards have already been struck down. We're going to have to reenact that to ensure at the very least that abortions are not being performed in dirty facilities.
Well, there
So
are
these are the
state
things
and
that we're
federal
looking at. This is what
cleanliness
Value Them Both
standards
is
that
all
are
about.
going twice a year. Brittany, this is something that is already happening, but we appreciate your time today. We know you have. Okay, go ahead.
It was struck down in 2021, in December of 2021. You can look that up. It's a
Sure,
fact.
but these are
Thank
health
you.
clinics that have strict standards. It's not, we're not going, this isn't the 1950s. There are strict standards in place. So I know that
Not according
that's
to
an
the
issue.
state, but thank you.
All right. Brittany Jones, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Kansans for Constitutional Freedom is one of the major groups against the amendment proposal. It's a coalition of reproductive rights advocates. Ashley All is their spokesperson. Thanks so much for being on the broadcast today.
Thanks for having me.
You know, unlike many states with legislatures that are already trying to figure out what their abortion laws are going to be, this is a constitutional amendment put before the voters. Does that raise the stakes here in Kansas?
Yeah, I think it does. And the decision last month that overturned Roe also raised the urgency and the importance of this issue. It makes it even more important for us to stop this constitutional amendment and protect Kansans' freedom and their right to make personal medical decisions free from government overreach.
Why is this, in your words and in your group's words, an issue of constitutional freedom?
Well, as you know, in Kansas, there are already regulations on abortion, pretty significant ones already. And what supporters of the amendment would like to do is take those restrictions and expand them. And so really we are trying very hard to make sure that we are able to protect our right to make decisions about our bodies and about our reproductive freedom free from government overreach. As I mentioned, abortion is already heavily regulated in our state.
Right, for sure. What's your take on, I mean, even just the name being used, Value Them Both, and the language here being used on the ballots next month? Is that a battle for you to try to get your message across?
It is, and I think that they have done a very, it worked very hard to mislead Kansans about what this is. As I said, abortion is already heavily regulated in our state. It is banned after viability. No government funding of abortion is outlawed. Not to mention there are restrictions on the waiting periods, etc. And so really this is about going above and beyond that and potentially banning it. The amendment gives politicians the power to pass any law they want, including a complete ban with no exceptions for rape, incest, or to save the life of the mother.
Yeah, it's interesting that the Value Them Both organization on their website tried very hard to exclude the mention of a ban. They wrote on their website, it simply ensures, this amendment, that there could be at least some limits on the abortion industry. But I mean, your biggest concern here would be an outright ban, I imagine.
Absolutely, and there are actual limits already in our state, and I think that is the misleading thing that they are putting forward. And Kansans deserve the right to make these decisions, and it's not just a decision; it's sometimes a life and death decision, where you never know when there's going to be a life-threatening complication in a pregnancy. And so this is really important. And if this amendment passes, we very much expect a ban, and that puts lives at risk.
All right. Well, we know that you're going to have your work cut out for you in the next few weeks ahead. Ashley All, thank you so much for coming on Heart of the Matter today. We continue to keep close tabs on the issue in Kansas leading up to Election Day next month. You can look for coverage on air and online at KMBC.com.